You know what shocked me the most when I started researching stroke prevention? It wasn't learning about the obvious culprits like processed foods or sugar. It was discovering that one of the vegetables I'd been proudly adding to my salads every single day was quietly raising my stroke risk without me having any clue. And honey, this isn't some rare exotic vegetable I'm talking about. This is something sitting in grocery stores across America right now, something that millions of women over 40 are eating regularly, thinking they're doing their bodies a favor. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which vegetable this is, why it's so dangerous for our age group specifically, and most importantly, I'm going to share the simple natural strategies that can protect your brain and blood vessels starting today. Because what I'm about to tell you could literally save your life. Before we dive in, I want you to do me a favor. If you're someone who cares about preventing stroke, heart disease, and cognitive decline naturally, without relying on a medicine cabinet full of prescriptions, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is all about giving you science-backed, natural solutions that actually work for women like us. We talk about real food, real supplements, and real lifestyle changes that can transform your health from the inside out. So go ahead and subscribe, because I promise you, the information we share here could be the game changer you've been looking for. Now, let's talk about why this matters so much right now. Did you know that stroke risk doubles every decade after age 55 for women? And here's what's even scarier. Many of the strokes happening to women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s could be prevented with the right knowledge about what we're putting in our bodies every single day. But here's the problem. We've been conditioned to think that all vegetables are automatically good for us. We hear eat your greens, add more vegetables, and we assume that means every single vegetable is going to support our health. But that's simply not true, especially for women in our age group who are dealing with changing hormones, slower metabolism, and blood vessels that need extra protection. The vegetable I'm talking about is raw spinach. Yes, you heard that right. Raw spinach. Now before you click away thinking I've lost my mind, hear me out. This isn't about demonizing spinach entirely. This is about understanding how certain compounds in raw spinach can create serious problems for women over 40, and why the way we've been eating it could be setting us up for cardiovascular disaster. Here's what's happening in your body when you eat large amounts of raw spinach regularly. Raw spinach is absolutely loaded with something called oxalates. These are naturally occurring compounds that, in small amounts, your body can usually handle just fine. But when you're eating raw spinach in those big salad bowls, or blending it into smoothies every morning, or adding it to wraps and sandwiches day after day, you're flooding your system with oxalates faster than your body can process them. Now, why is this particularly dangerous for women our age? As we get older, our kidneys don't work quite as efficiently as they used to. Our digestive systems slow down. Our bodies are already working harder to maintain balance with changing hormones. When you add high levels of oxalates to this mix, several things start happening that directly increase your stroke risk. First, these oxalates start binding with minerals in your blood, particularly calcium and magnesium. Now, calcium might sound harmless, but when oxalates grab onto calcium in your bloodstream, they can form crystals. These crystals don't just disappear. They can get deposited in your blood vessel walls, making them stiffer and more prone to blockages. This is essentially creating the perfect environment for a stroke to happen. But here's where it gets even more concerning. Magnesium is absolutely crucial for keeping your blood vessels relaxed and your blood pressure stable. When oxalates bind up your magnesium, you're essentially robbing your cardiovascular system of one of its most important protectors. Low magnesium levels are directly linked to high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, and increased clotting risk. All of these are major stroke risk factors. I learned about this connection from Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a cardiologist who specializes in women's heart health. She told me about a patient of hers, a 52-year-old woman named Jennifer, who was doing everything right. Jennifer exercised regularly, avoided processed foods, took her vitamins, and prided herself on eating huge spinach salads for lunch every single day. She was consuming nearly 2 cups of raw spinach daily, thinking she was being incredibly healthy. When Jennifer came in for her annual checkup, Dr. Mitchell noticed that her blood pressure had crept up, and some of her blood markers were showing early signs of inflammation in her blood vessels. After doing a detailed diet analysis, Dr. Mitchell discovered that Jennifer's oxalate intake was through the roof. They made one simple change. Jennifer switched from raw spinach to lightly steamed spinach, and reduced her overall spinach intake to about 3 times per week instead of daily. Within 3 months, Jennifer's blood pressure had normalized, her inflammation markers improved dramatically, and she felt more energetic than she had in years. Now, you might be wondering, why is cooked spinach different from raw spinach? Here's the fascinating part. When you lightly steam or sauté spinach, you actually break down a significant portion of those problematic oxalates. The heat neutralizes many of them, making the remaining nutrients much more bioavailable and much less likely to cause these binding issues in your bloodstream. Plus, cooking spinach actually increases your absorption of some of its beneficial nutrients, like beta-carotene and lutein. But here's what I really want you to understand. This isn't just about spinach. This is about understanding how your body works differently now than it did when you were younger, and making smart adjustments that support your long-term health. Because the truth is, stroke prevention for women over 40 isn't just about avoiding one vegetable. It's about creating a comprehensive approach that protects your brain and blood vessels naturally. So let me share with you the 5 most powerful natural strategies I've learned for stroke prevention. These come from years of research, conversations with leading experts, and seeing what actually works for women like us. Strategy number 1 is optimizing your mineral balance. Since oxalates can disrupt your calcium and magnesium levels, you want to make sure you're getting these minerals in forms your body can actually use. The best natural sources of bioavailable calcium aren't dairy products like we've been told. They're foods like sardines with bones, sesame seeds, and dark leafy greens that are low in oxalates, like arugula and watercress. For magnesium, focus on pumpkin seeds, avocados, and dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao. Strategy number 2 is supporting your body's natural detoxification pathways. Your liver and kidneys are working overtime to process everything you're exposed to, including excess oxalates. One of the most powerful ways to support this process is by drinking plenty of clean water throughout the day, but here's the key. Add a pinch of high-quality sea salt and a squeeze of lemon to your water. This creates the perfect environment for your kidneys to flush out toxins efficiently while maintaining proper electrolyte balance. Strategy number 3 is incorporating specific anti-inflammatory foods that protect your blood vessels. Turmeric is probably the most powerful one I know of. But here's the secret that most people don't know. Turmeric needs to be combined with black pepper and a healthy fat to be properly absorbed. I make a simple golden milk every evening using coconut milk, a teaspoon of turmeric, a tiny pinch of black pepper, and a touch of raw honey. This combination is incredibly anti-inflammatory and has been shown to improve blood vessel function. Strategy number 4 is managing your stress levels, because chronic stress is one of the biggest stroke risk factors for women our age. When you're constantly stressed, your body produces excess cortisol, which makes your blood more likely to clot and your blood pressure more likely to spike. The most effective natural stress management technique I've found is something called coherent breathing. You breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and hold for 4 counts. Do this for just 5 minutes twice a day, and you'll start noticing significant improvements in your stress levels and blood pressure. Strategy number 5 is optimizing your sleep quality, because this is when your brain literally cleans itself. During deep sleep, your brain activates something called the glymphatic system, which flushes out toxins and waste products that can contribute to stroke risk. To improve your sleep naturally, stop eating at least 3 hours before bed, keep your bedroom cool and completely dark, and consider supplementing with magnesium glycinate about an hour before bedtime. Now, let's talk about the specific foods you want to emphasize for stroke prevention. Wild-caught salmon is probably the most powerful one, because it's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids that keep your blood vessels flexible and reduce inflammation. Blueberries are incredible too, because they contain compounds called anthocyanins that specifically protect the blood-brain barrier. Walnuts are fantastic because they provide plant-based omega-3s and have been shown to improve blood vessel function within hours of eating them. And here's something interesting that most people don't know. Beets are incredibly protective against stroke, but not because of what you might think. Beets contain natural nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like a natural blood thinner and blood vessel relaxer. It helps keep your blood flowing smoothly and your blood pressure stable. You can get this benefit by juicing fresh beets, roasting them, or even taking a high-quality beet powder supplement. Speaking of supplements, there are a few that have really strong research behind them for stroke prevention. Omega-3 fatty acids are probably the most important, but you want to make sure you're getting a high-quality fish oil that's been tested for purity. The dose that most research supports is about 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily. Vitamin K2 is another one that doesn't get nearly enough attention. K2 helps direct calcium to your bones where it belongs, instead of letting it accumulate in your blood vessels where it can cause problems. You can get K2 from fermented foods like sauerkraut and kefir, or from a high-quality supplement. Coenzyme Q10 is incredibly important too, especially if you're taking any cholesterol-lowering medications, because these medications can deplete your natural CoQ10 levels. CoQ10 helps your heart muscle work more efficiently and has been shown to improve blood vessel function. But here's what I want you to remember above everything else. Small, consistent changes make the biggest difference. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start with one thing. Maybe it's switching from raw spinach to lightly cooked spinach a few times a week. Maybe it's adding that golden milk to your evening routine. Maybe it's doing those 5 minutes of coherent breathing when you wake up in the morning. The key is consistency, not perfection. Your body wants to be healthy. It wants your blood vessels to be flexible and your blood to flow smoothly. Sometimes it just needs a little support and the right information to make that happen. I also want to address something that I know many of you are thinking about. What about your doctor? Should you talk to them about these changes? Absolutely. But here's what I've learned. You want to work with healthcare providers who understand and respect the power of natural approaches. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to share what you're learning about nutrition and natural health. A good doctor will be interested in what you're discovering and will want to support your efforts to prevent disease naturally. And remember, stroke prevention isn't just about what you eat. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports your overall cardiovascular health. That means regular movement that you actually enjoy, whether that's walking, dancing, swimming, or yoga. It means staying socially connected, because isolation and loneliness are actually significant risk factors for stroke. It means finding purpose and meaning in your daily life, because women who feel engaged and purposeful tend to have better cardiovascular outcomes. One more thing I want to mention, because I know this comes up a lot. What about family history? If stroke or heart disease runs in your family, does that mean you're doomed to experience the same thing? Absolutely not. Your genes are not your destiny. What you do every single day with your food choices, your stress management, your sleep habits, and your movement patterns has far more impact on your health outcomes than your family history ever will. I've seen women completely transform their health trajectories with natural approaches, even when they have strong family histories of cardiovascular disease. The key is starting now, being consistent, and trusting the process. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're building a community of women who are committed to aging with vitality, preventing disease naturally, and supporting each other on this journey. Your subscription helps us reach more women with this life-saving information. Now, here's what I want you to do next. In my next video, I'm going to reveal the one mineral deficiency that's silently destroying women's hearts, and it's not what you think. This mineral is so crucial for cardiovascular health that even a mild deficiency can double your risk of heart attack, but 90% of women over 40 are deficient and have no idea. I'm going to tell you exactly how to test for this deficiency at home, the best natural sources to correct it, and the specific supplement form that works best for women our age. This information could literally add decades to your life, so make sure you watch that video as soon as it goes live.